This is a personal pet peeve of mine, but I can't stand kids that tough talk all the time. Almost like our last episode with Usopp, who's kind of like playing out this power fantasy in his head. I'm listening to these guys like, yeah, well, I take them by the neck and I just like wring out. It's like, what? No, you're not. What are you talking about? Hey everyone, how's it going? Noxiddar here, and welcome to our next reaction in the One Piece anime. So I definitely didn't look at the title, but I definitely looked at the title, and it looks like this episode will probably be another one-off reaction, because it seems like right after this one we will be jumping into the Baratie Sanji arc, and I didn't want to do that as like the second half of a 2-episode reaction. I don't want to steal Sanji's thunder at all, so we'll be looking forward to that in our next episode. But I'm looking forward to this one because I have a suspicion that by the end of it we'll be adding our next AI crew member, and that'll go up in our gallery of cursed images. Let's talk shop for a little bit, shall we? In the last episode, I had mentioned that I wasn't even sure if I remembered how to do reactions because it had been a week, and then I was feeling under the weather. You probably heard it in my voice in the last episode. And as it turns out, I took another week, so I definitely doubly down. May not know how to do reactions. All of you have been so overwhelmingly positive and kind, and just really took me by surprise, and I almost wonder if some of the shock has worn off and some of the reality was starting to set in, because all of a sudden I found myself just like frozen in the moment. And it's I'd even tell people at work, I'd say they'd say, what are you gonna do tonight? I'd say, well, I'm gonna go home and I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna record some videos. And I would go home and I would sit down and I would not record some videos. But the next day I would go in there and I would tell them, yeah, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna sit down, would record some videos. And then by the end of the week it was more like, yeah, I'm gonna go home, I'm gonna sit down, and oh my gosh, I really got to get going on these recordings. I haven't recorded all week. I get through step 2. I do, in fact, come home. And then I do, in fact, sit in front of my computer here. And it's like I want to escape. It's like all of a sudden, for no reason at all, I have become so worried that the next reaction video is going to be the one where I slip up. The mask comes off. I run out of things to say. I don't know what to say. I missed the wrong thing. And everybody sees me for the fraud that I really am. And it was probably a day or two ago when I kind of just had to stop, and I was like, what are you doing? The whole reason people are following you is because not because you made the videos for them, it's because you made the videos for you. You tell people that all the time in the comments. I'm talking to myself right now, so sorry if you feel like you're eavesdropping on a conversation. We're just kind of continuing our argument from the last couple of days. We're gonna hash it out right here in front of you all. I think, before it was very carefree, and now I feel like there is some responsibility to most certainly continue. So, the opposite of not sitting down and not recording. But to actually continue. But I just had to remind myself, like, you're doing these videos for you. And it has to be that. People have so many wonderful suggestions on how to do it better, or how to do it better for them. But at the end of the day, it's like I tell people, I'm not trying to make perfect videos. I'm trying to make videos that perfectly represent me. And so I hope that's what I'm doing with this reaction series. And that's where I've kind of like refocused, and now we're here. I'm no longer sick, but I traded in that, that cruddy sick cold for a cruddy stupid zit. I mean, if I'm going to talk like a teenager, I might as well look like one too. I love that we always start with like this blue sky, or it's definitely some reference to just the open air freedom. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, when you were 3. I love that Nami's on board with this too. Like, yeah, let's just go blow stuff up. Oh, this is so cool. We're getting Zoro's past. Oh, look at him. Wow. 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 Let me go back for a second. Something that just makes me super giddy is seeing how good the casting was in the live action, not just main characters that have a lot of screen presence, but even just down to the casting for the Swordmaster here too. This is amazing. Like, what? Holy cow. That's a... Whoa. Whoa. Oh, okay. I don't really have anything else to add. He seems more warm. The other one definitely seemed more mentor. All right. Anyways, obviously, I'm trying to glean too much from too little, so let's keep going. This is a personal pet peeve of mine, but I can't stand kids that tough talk all the time. So like, we just went on a, I guess like a field trip, and so the students that I was working with were so worried that leaving their backpack on the bus, like some roving kleptomaniac was gonna go from bus to bus and steal their backpack. And so they just, almost like our last episode with Usopp, who's kind of like playing out this power fantasy in his head. I'm listening to these guys like, yeah, well, I take him by the neck and I just like wring out. It's like, what? No, you're not. What are you talking about? So it's really funny to see that just like totally embodied right here in young Zoro, because, you know, we know that he's driven. He's looking for the challenge to be the very best, like, you know what I mean. So he wants to be the world's greatest swordsman. He's looking for that challenge. He's not gonna take no for an answer. So the fact that it's just like distilled down into this small package with almost like a sour Popeye kind of face, he's like, come on, give me your strongest, come at me. It's so good. I love it. I don't know why this show just it is my humor. It's so weird that I was to think that, you know, when I was younger I was repelled by something that I really feel like I have a lot of connection to now that I've started it. Oh dang, he's taking the whole thing. Fair enough. He's almost like Cartman.
All right, you guys, send out your strongest. I'm gonna take you down. Get in.
Huh? What? Did they cover that in the live action? I don't know if they ever addressed that Kuina was his daughter. That tough guy attitude. Dude, physical humor just kills me. Oh my gosh! I gotta tell you this story. Oh, go back. Okay. I will look for this picture so that I can include it in the editing, so you can see me in a dogi, just like this. Not a doggy, a dogi. Well, I guess they're not really wearing a dogi. But I actually, during my first year in Japan, I did a brief stint trying to, because I wanted to learn a martial art, so I actually chose kendo, believe it or not. I don't have my shinai with me. It didn't survive the trip. I actually don't know where it is. Probably some like Yakuza in Tokyo is like using it like a dragon style or something like that. Maybe Osaka. I don't know. But anyways, so I'm in the Budokan, the warrior hall. It's kind of just like really big multi-layered gym building where they did lots of different martial arts disciplines, such as like I think they had karate on the other side of the second floor gym that we were at. And because I was a novice, there were a lot of college students there. So people my age, right? Because at the time I'm like 23 years old. So I'm pretty close to a lot of these college age students. And so initially they had paired us up with them. And this like total, what would it be? Is it like Nanadan or Shichidan? I can't remember which version of the number 7 it would be. But like the 7th Dan kendo master, silver-haired fox chest hair coming out. Yeah, basically kind of looking like this, except minus the glasses, but like just like short silver hair. And it was total like just macho deep voice. And he puts this student in front of me who might as well have been like Kuina, about that size. Her name was Hana. I have no idea if it was Hana, like the word for flower, but we will refer to this person as Flower because they were very delicate in frame compared to, my wider frame. And, and I'm not tall by any stretch. I'm like 5'11", 6 foot, depending on if I slouch. And so I'm kind of just towering over her, and he wanted me to get used to striking with the shinai. Yep, right. Oh my gosh, I've forgotten everything. This is how good of a student I was. Striking with the shinai and going for the men, so that I can practice striking right here, dead center on the helmet, and getting a feel for that. And I looked at him, and I said, "Oh no, I couldn't strike a lady." And he looks at me, those like hunter eyes. He takes the shinai straight out of my hands. He pushes me aside. He just takes it up and strikes right here, right on the helmet, and you hear the crack, you hear the smack, and she stands there and she takes it. He hands it back to me and is almost like like a grunt, like your turn, you do it. And so I kind of I ready the shinai. I've got it over my head, and I'm kind of like closing my eyes and looking away, and I just like crank back on the handle and I send it down, and I hear this like sound like a pained puppy. It's like a yeep. And I open my eyes, and I completely missed the armored helmet right here, and actually struck right here on the shoulder. And then he took the shinai again, and he put me over with the elementary school students to practice my suriyashi, my footwork, and to practice my kiai. And so if you can imagine, there's a bunch of like little children, and they're kind of like scooting across the floor, working on suriyashi and releasing their kiai. And then somewhere down the line, somewhere in the middle of the pack, there is a giant lion. I roared like a lion. So like I'm like channeling my inner Braveheart, right? Like, they can take our lives, but they'll never take our freedom. And so I'm moving across the gym, and I'm scooting, and it's like, yeah! Kids are looking at me like, what the heck? Who is this? Are you sure this is a good idea, Sensei? But this matchup right here between Zoro and Kuina just took me back to that moment. And like I was saying earlier, I have these weird connections with One Piece that I didn't realize I was going to have. And it makes it so much more enjoyable. Man, what was I worried about? I got things to talk about. This is great. Let's keep going. Like the subtitles say, begin. Somehow I don't think this is gonna go down like it did with me and Hana. What? Yeah, it's almost like the reverse. Yeah, just wing it. Ikiatari batari. Oh, that's cool, getting the heat waves there. You got this, buddy. We're getting a montage now. This music is incredible. What? I love that he wears that just content smile. That's so good. This doesn't feel like a gracious victory to me. She seemed a lot more supportive in live action. Those eyes fluttering. What the heck? I was wondering what the sword was called because I think in the live action, didn't Luffy just refer to it as the itchy monkey or something like that? So I was sitting there and I'm like, what are they saying? So it's really nice, really lovely to have these subtitles so I could actually see what it was. Took me long enough to figure it out, but here we are. Oh, you can see it. You can see it. I was looking for it. That's why I was kind of, you're like, why is he looking at the moon like that? Is he going to turn into a werewolf? You can see it. You can barely just make it out. But right here, you have the rabbit. In Japan, they see a rabbit making mochi. And I see that one. I don't see the man in the moon, but I see the rabbit making mochi. So yeah, that's what I was looking for. That's so cool. All right. But one of the things that I kind of find interesting is it almost seems like there was still the same sentiment in the live action of young Zoro wanting to prove that he was better and he wanted to use real swords. But you remember in the live action, she's the one that's like, all right, but you better be prepared to kill me. And like, you know, that's not really a thing here. It's still like a form of competition. And it almost like it was just unspoken that they were going to duel to the death, you know, when Zoro was saying, this ends here right now. She's still badgering him. Yeah. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, I like that the live action took inspiration from that. But yeah, in the live action, she wanted him to be better. But here she's just like, you're just not good enough. Not on my level, bro. Yep. Yeah, he's definitely unloading on her.
どうしたんだお前ら。クイナが死んだ。
Oh. I was expecting Otosan to come in and say that. Didn't we watch her go into the storehouse? Is the storehouse where the Wado Ichi Monji, not Ichi Monkey, was kept? Was that the storehouse? Because I'm pretty sure that had one step, maybe two if there was a Genkan inside of it. Because like all these buildings are, I assume, like raised on like not stilts, but you know, just elevated a little bit that you step up onto. Must have been one heck of a doozy of a step. I always wondered what that down D stairs meme was.
Kuina はあの子は負けん気の強い子だった。小さい頃からこの道場で練習して大人をもしのぐ力をつけてきました。そんな時にゾロ、君が現れたんですよ。君には感謝している。今の君を見ていると私も切ないです。
その刀、俺にくれよ。
クイナの刀を。
俺はあいつの分も強くなるから。天国まで俺の名が届くように強くなるから。世界一強い剣豪になるからさ。約束したんだ。俺は。
Oh, give me a second. I don't know. That that emotion came out of nowhere. So guess I better explain it because otherwise it seemed kind of odd. So this is very, again, it feels different from the live action. In the live action, it was very much, the vibe was that he wanted to carry on her memory and to finish what they had both promised and started. And this one has more pain. Like the pain of having to carry on without your dream. Because you gotta remember, she was his stepping stone. She was his first step, or possibly even the last step, becoming the world's greatest swordsman. And he's been robbed of that. And so you saw in his training montage, he's driven by pain and anger, and now overcome with grief. I think maybe now it catches up to the sentiment of the live action and wanting to carry that forward. But anyways, just kind of that little exchange right there. All of a sudden, it just triggered this memory. So this is a little personal. but I think it's okay. Because I you know, I want to be able to look back and have these memories, and you're probably like, dude, just get to it. Sorry. Last year, and for the last 8 years, I took care and was one-on-one with a student with cerebral palsy. And you could almost say like we had a we had a contentious relationship when we first met, and I was working with him. Just like this little 40-pound sack of groceries. I didn't know how to properly carry him yet, and the first day I picked him up, he bit me. He bit me, but he bit my hair, and he just ripped hair right out of my head. It was like having a little Chucky doll in my hands. And but we grew to, respect each other and trust each other. And last year was his senior year in high school. And he didn't get to finish. In fact, next week, the 20th of October, his birthday. I didn't know what to do for the rest of the school year. I spoke at his graduation, talked to his class, his friends, spoke in his stead, told stories, and the funny thing is that he loved Curious George. This is, I'm sorry, I know this is like way off topic, but I don't know if you're familiar with Curious George and the opening theme song, but it goes something to the effect of like, and you never do know what's around the bend. A big adventure or a brand new friend. And those were the closing lines to my speech to the graduating class last year. Like I said, I didn't know what my future was going to be like, as I had to carry on. I had to keep going. I couldn't finish what I started with my student. I find myself here, with all of you, on this big adventure. Had no idea it was just around the bend. And I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I have that sense of direction. And now, like I said, another personal connection to this story. I feel that connection with Zoro. I understand that pain. Not being able to finish what you had set out, what you had started. Holy cow! Is this what people meant when they said, don't think you know everything just because you watched the live action? Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Whew, okay, let's get past this. I honestly just thought this would be an interesting backstory. What? I'm good. Thanks. In advance. I'm good. Let's finish strong. Oh god, 8 years? Yeah, he was like my first assignment when I just came back from Japan. I think I worked maybe a year with another student, and then I was assigned to him, and I was terrified. Oh, also 8 years. That's wild. What? Why couldn't we see that competency in the live action? He looked like he'd never touched a cannon before. Well, maybe he hadn't. I don't know. What the heck? Yeah, Usopp got gypped. Oh my, we did it, everybody. We made it. We made it through. Holy cow. This is gonna be one of the hardest episodes that I've ever edited ever in the history of my channel ever. Holy cow, I really didn't expect it to just sideswipe me like that. And I certainly didn't expect it to make that level of connection with what was going on in the episode. So I apologize if you're like, wow, dude, he really took us off the rails there. But like I said, that's like what the whole thing is. Yeah, I think about the people with the helpful suggestion where they're like, write it down and save it to the end. And I think about like a scene like that and the emotional impact that it just hit me with. That would have been a great callback for the people that keep suggesting that to me. Yeah, just write it down and talk about it at the end. I am. Okay. I read it. Written it. I wrote it right across my heart, and you could probably see it in my eyes. You could see that I was taking notes. But yeah, that's is weird. And I think the only reason that I can come up with that I had such a strong connection to that story, and then also this, is because it really made me think like where Zoro is now versus where he was, and in that moment what that feeling of helplessness and wanting to carry on and not having that immediate goal there, and especially feeling like you had put so much into it to just come up short. Like, I get it. I know what that feels like. I know what that loss feels like. It's still fresh. Wasn't even a year ago yet. So that Man, that's crazy. But then, you know, like I said, it is kind of bittersweet because of the connection with Curious George and the idea that we're going on this adventure. And, you know, and here I am, just in this moment, realizing I'm here. I'm going on this adventure. I'm not alone. And I'm not directionless. We just go on to the next episode. And we do the next reaction. And we have this story set. You know, like, people said keep tissues nearby. I didn't think we were going to do it for a flashback, like, filler episode before the next arc. But, okay. Wow. We put on the waterworks today. So this is going to be a special episode. I'm not going to forget this one. So thank you all for hanging out with me and working through that. I'm certainly going to give a more abbreviated version of that sadness. But that's why I like doing the reactions the way I do. They're immediate and they're raw. And I don't care if I pause in the middle of something that you think is important. I'm going to take time and I'm going to appreciate what I saw. And, you know, in that moment when it hit me, I did. I appreciated what I saw. I appreciate what I have. I appreciate what I had. And I appreciate what I have to look forward to with you by my side in the comments, but also watching, but after the fact of the recording that I did. Anyways, I think that's all for me. I'll see you in the next one. This is Noxiddar. Out.